daily trading tools and some of the APIs that a lot of the institutions will be using in the future. So today I'm sure that a lot of you guys have a lot of questions, so I'm going to try to keep the presentation short and try to do a lot more Q&A because I know Byron and other people have already said that they want to ask more questions. So hopefully I'll be able to get to some of the more important questions and really interact with you guys a little bit more. So before I begin, I just want to know how many of you guys actually have Bitcoins? Okay, good. All right. So, it is, one of the things in the mainstream right now. A lot of people have a lot of questions. They're asking, what is Bitcoins? Is it safe? What do we do with it? Where is it going? So I'm going to hopefully today, with this presentation, we're going to answer some of those questions. Okay, so let's go to that first slide. Okay, all right. So the first slide here is actually what is Bitcoins. So Bitcoins is actually a decentralized peer-to-peer. Okay, so it's a decentralized peer-to-peer electronic cryptography system. And what this means is there's no central banks, there's no central authority, and there's no institute that owns Bitcoins. And why is that good, or why is that bad? So I mean, some of the things people are really scared about or really feel it's risky is because there's nothing backing it. But if you go down to what is really a currency? A currency is something backed by the government. So I mean, what is the government? A representation of the people. So at the end of the day, it's all about trust. And the more people that trust a certain type of medium of exchange, the more valid it becomes. So why trust Bitcoins? Why trust the US dollar? So one of the things that kicked the Bitcoins into high gear was Cyprus. So many people believed in the government-backed currency, and what happened in Cyprus was when they went bankrupt, they decided to nationalize all the bank accounts, meaning anybody that had money in the banks, a portion of that now belonged to the government. Now this was a very scary thing for many people. So all of the life savings, all the things that you believed in, all of a sudden now you can't believe in. Someone just came and took all the money out of your bank account. So that was a very scary thing. So then people started thinking, well, what can I do? So now they've defended on something called Bitcoins. And why is Bitcoin more trustworthy than something backed by a government? So because it's based on a formula. It's based on an algorithm. And this algorithm can be changed, but not easily. And this is, they've said there's going to be 21 million Bitcoins by 2030. That's it. It's a finite amount, then they're not going to create any more. I mean, if you ask your governments today, or you ask, any country, what's in circulation today? We're not sure. How much money are you going to be printing next month? We're not sure. So, it's almost like a false sense of trust because you're not even sure what the monetary policy is. You're not sure what the supply is. And this is what Bitcoin does. Right now, there's about 11 million Bitcoins today. That is what it is. I mean, there's not 12 million, there's not 13 million, there's about 11 or so million. We also know how many Bitcoins are coming into existence. Every 10 minutes at this rate is 25 Bitcoins. And there's going to be another jump where it's going to take less Bitcoins every minute. But I mean, everything is very clear. You know exactly by a certain time period how many Bitcoins are in circulation. And what people like about this is some stability. So one of the other things that that people don't like about Bitcoins is the volatility. And with a very small market cap of about 8 billion, it's very easily be manipulated. But as more and more people come on board and take an adoption of Bitcoins, you'll see that this price starts stabilizing. I mean, some of the things that are causing this is, I'm sure that you guys all have heard, is Mt. Gox. Mt. Gox went down. People are really worried about it. But I mean, if you saw what happened to Mt. Gox, prices did come down a bit, but in the end, it rebounded very quickly. You know why? Because, Mt. Gox is not the only exchange in the world now. And, people have started to see that, okay, there's some bad apples, some companies that maybe didn't have the right infrastructure in place, and they're I guess had to close up. But there's other exchanges to take their place. There's more mature people in the environment now to take up these companies. So I mean, stability wise, it's only going to get better. So, all right, so what is the future of Bitcoins? So as you guys realize today, fiat and physical fiat, which is like currency or money, is no longer the only way to transact. I mean, most of you guys probably transact in, credit cards, Octopus. I mean, how often do you really deal with cash besides, taxis, right? I mean, we're still a little bit of ways from there, but I mean, cash is becoming less and less prevalent in our society. And we will obviously need a form of payment system to help with this. I mean, and some people, you guys are probably going to say like, well, what's wrong with PayPal? What's wrong with Alipay? I mean, these are very, very good for what they were doing before, but they are still susceptible to, to hacks or being bankrupt because they're just one company owning a portion of the payments. So I mean, with a decentralized system, and I'm sure you guys have downloaded or did some things with BitTorrent, is a really resilient network. So I mean, there's no single point of failure, and if if there's a nuclear attack, I'm sure that there's still going to be some Bitcoin network somewhere that's still in existence. And the good thing about that is also every account or every account balance is accounted for in a ledger, and this is in part of the Bitcoin network. So I mean, it's not going to be lost. You don't have to back it up. As long as there's one computer left on the network or a node, we can still recreate the account balance in the ledger. So what are some of the challenges that Bitcoin faces today? So one of the major things for adoption, it needs to be easier. And this is what we strive to be to help with the ecosystem, is by opening up the first retail store in the world that is going to be able to buy and sell Bitcoins at a physical location. At the end of the day, people are still used to a physical location, walking in, human interaction. I mean, this is one of the most basic ways to communicate. And with the complexity of going on an online exchange, with some of the untrustworthiness of hacks and online, but at the end of the day, is people can come in with cash, buy a service, buy a product, and then transact. People feel much safer with that. So with our first retail launch in Hong Kong, we're hoping that we can break down some of the barriers that people are going to be able to buy with Bitcoins. And I think this is going to be the trend going forward. I mean, I think a lot more other exchanges in other countries are going to follow suit. So why did we choose Hong Kong as the basis of our operations? First of all, because me and my partners actually were living here for the last couple of years. So I mean, it made obvious sense to start our Bitcoin business here. But Hong Kong is a very vibrant city, very dynamic. It's a financial capital, and with great students like you guys to drive the next generation. I mean, this is why that we chose Hong Kong to start these operations. So I mean, and also why people are asked, why did we start in Sai Ying Pun? Sai Ying Pun is a very trendy area. The rent is a lot cheaper there. and also there's going to be the MTR there. So I mean, we're really forward thinking and looking at some of the locations. And one of the things that we're hoping is it's going to drive a lot of traffic there for now. We will be looking into other locations depending on how successful this is. But mostly it's to be our clients and customers another way to get into the ecosystem easier and just make the whole purchasing and buying Bitcoins less scary. Okay. All right. So that's what I did. Yeah, that's all I have for today. So I mean, let's open it up for Q&A. And
so my first question is: are you happy about the Canadian performance at the Olympics?
As long as you won the hockey gold, that's all that cares. That's all that matters.
At least you don't have any fake Russian Koreans. So we have a question. Oh, start.
So Mr. Low, did you hold any Bitcoin before you joined this company?
Yes. So how I got started with Bitcoins was I was actually a trader at a personal level, and what I was doing just buying, selling. Then I started arbitraging. Arbitraging, for the users that know, is trading between exchanges. And the advantage of arbitraging is almost no risk. It's guaranteed profit. So I'd buy on one exchange, sell on another exchange. And at that time, it was quite lucrative. It was probably about 10 to 30% profits.
So how about at this moment?
So now obviously everyone's kind of found out about this little trick of mine, and now everybody's involved in arbitraging, and a lot of the margins now I think down to about 5%.
Are you rich?
No. I wouldn't be here. I'd be on some island drinking pina colada.
For the Bitcoin.
What is some of the risks, like for example, if the U.S. government or the Western governments trying to suppress this operation?
This is a risk with any industry. Right now that we've made it pretty clear from Yellen just yesterday that Bitcoin is not under the jurisdiction of central banks, and this is they do not recognize it as a virtual currency. They recognize it as a virtual commodity, and a commodity. So their definition is it's not backed by anything. So that's why it can't be determined as a currency. And so right now there is no regulation anywhere in the world that I know of that is regulating Bitcoins. I just wanted to add to that one point though, what every government is afraid of is money laundering. So money laundering is a fact of life, and it happens in all types of industries. And especially Bitcoins, we have to try harder than every other industry to ensure that we are anti-money laundering compliant, and also that we know our customers. So KYC, AML, these are very important things, and that unfortunately Bitcoins being a very highly visible industry, that we have to do a lot more KYC and AML than any other industry.
I thought KYC was a jelly. What's KYC and your banking speak, man?
I don't know what you
Okay, well, before we get any other questions, you're supposed to be here to talk about the future.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about the future in terms of how Bitcoin is going to shake it up.
So like I said, Bitcoin's, so let's talk about Octopus. So everybody knows Octopus here in Hong Kong. So imagine Octopus, it's very convenient. It's electronic. You can top it up easily. It's accepted in many places. And you don't have to carry change in your pocket. Now imagine, let's extrapolate that to a worldwide Octopus card. Bitcoin is a global currency. Right now it's accepted anywhere in the world. Almost every country, there's a value to it. What the type of value is in between regions is obviously between the region, but I mean, you can bring it anywhere in the world and it's accepted. So imagine that you can have a card or a mobile wallet. Then when you travel, I no longer have to, so say I'm going to Brazil, I no longer have to change into reals. I can just go and use my Bitcoin wallet with my phone and just transfer it to the merchant. I can pay for my hotel, my flights, all of that with one global currency. And this is what the future holds. I mean, it's breaking down barriers. It's breaking down the physical aspect of it, because that's what all the limitations are. And this is where I see Bitcoin's taking it.
So you believe there'll be a world where governments don't want to restrict us through currency, and they're all going to be lovey-dovey and no prohibition. Canadians can sell milk to whoever they want to. Chinese can sell.
As one of my slides said, Bitcoins will never replace cash. I mean, that's a fact of life. The government will always have control over what their country currency. What I see that's going to happen is probably it's going to coexist with what we have today. So something like cash and like credit cards. It's some things are ready for cash, some things are ready for credit card.
I'm curious to know if you think that Bitcoin will have difficulty getting traction due to its history with websites like the Silk Road, where illegal goods were traded, and if other websites continue to trade things that aren't allowed by the government, how does Bitcoin plan on getting trust from users?
So obviously, we don't endorse people buying Bitcoins to buy contrabands, drugs, or guns. But this is what cash does. I mean, that's cash's job, right? It's not Bitcoin. So I don't say that. I don't think that this is the way that's going to move forward. And it's a fact of life. Some things are used for not good uses, but I see that it's just one small part of the ecosystem.
I have two questions. One is that Bitcoin is banned in China because of the capital convertibility issues, the model that it breaks for most emerging economies. Do you see yourself partnering with the governments in future?
So first, I just want to clarify. So China did not ban Bitcoins. So the PBOC made a very clear statement of that the people are able to buy and participate in the Bitcoin buying and purchasing of it. What they did say was that the banks are not allowed to price in Bitcoins. So what that is meaning is, if you read between the lines, is that they don't want the banks to be pricing into a currency that's not country. That'd be saying like Bank of China saying, okay, we're going to start pricing our products in USD. That's not going to happen. So it is legal. I mean, that's why it's not illegal in any jurisdiction that I know of yet.
Okay, and my second question is, who invented Bitcoin? We don't know.
I don't know. Who invented Bitcoin? So Satoshi.
Father Christmas.
Satoshi.
They're all students. Don't. Father Christmas.
Father Christmas. Okay.
You can answer that question later. He doesn't exist. A fake Japanese.
Hi, I'm still concerned about the volatility of bitcoins. Can you elaborate on how that will disappear with time?
Sorry, I'm going to kill that question because we're talking about the future, right? So, no, it's not. Let's talk about the future. Volatility will always exist. Let's have an interesting question about the future. So, if it's something related to the future, we'll take it.
So altcoins are a really big thing with most exchanges. What are the prerequisites for an altcoin being accepted on an exchange? And also, how do you see Bitcoin standing against altcoins? Because it is beneficial for traders to like go back and forth, basically, if you have higher profit margins.
Okay,
So, wait. So what's an altcoin?
altcoins, Litecoins or Dogecoins or
So, other alternatives to Bitcoin?
alternative. So that's a very good question. So how altcoins came to be, and I think this is my own personal perspective on it, is because a lot of people feel that they missed the Bitcoin train. And unfortunately, right now, Bitcoins is all about speculation. So probably 90% of the traffic right now is all about speculation. And because the trading at today is about $550 US, it's too much. I mean, they wanted to get in at $1. So what came about was Litecoins and these altcoins like Namecoin, PPC coin, and these came in at dollars, at cents. So this is almost like buying a penny stock. And what this does is actually fragmenting the market. So the unfortunate thing is, like I said, most of it's speculation, but I don't see altcoins lasting very long at this point because it's all based off of Bitcoins. If Bitcoin is successful, then they'll be successful. If Bitcoin goes down, none of the altcoins today are going to replace Bitcoins. And is it Bitcoin the end game? We're not sure. There could be an altcoin later on that gets more acceptance, and this is the key here. Acceptance amongst the people, the general public, is what's going to make successful or not successful.
I've got a theory that Bitcoin was actually invented by the NSA as a way to track, and 10 years from now it'll be revealed.
So you said that Bitcoins probably in the future work like an octopus, and you can carry them around and use them wherever. But the valuation is so high, so I can't use it at a supermarket, 0.000005 for a bottle of water.
Yeah.
So how do you standardize that? It won't be workable in everyday life then, unless I'm buying a Rolls Royce probably on my Bitcoin, or drugs, yes, $1,000 Bitcoins.
5 grams. No, but okay, so that's a very good question. So right now, the measurement today is 1 Bitcoin. Actually, what you're going to see in the very near future, all the exchanges are going to move to the next measurement, which is millibitcoin. Millibitcoin is 1/1000th of a Bitcoin, and we're seeing a lot of pricing is on MBTC already. So those of you who are familiar with our giveaway in Chinese New Year, where we just gave away almost $500,000 worth of Hong Kong in Bitcoins, is we measured things in millibitcoins. It's exactly for the same reason that you mentioned, because it's very difficult to talk in .000 fractions. And so the next one is going to be millibitcoins, and then bitcoins, and then satoshis. So there is a different measurement that's going to come.
So that kind of answers the gentleman's question over there, right? By providing milli satoshis, you're going to basically help play around with